Welcome! It's Ashley from Demystifying Your Health. Thank you for joining me today. I am so glad that you're here. In this episode, we're going to be talking about osteoporosis. And if you've watched TV at all in the past few years, you've probably seen numerous commercials advertising medications that are used to treat osteoporosis. Just why is it so important? And should you be concerned? Let's find out. Osteoporosis is when bones become weak and brittle to the point of breaking when doing everyday tasks. And this can be something as simple as coughing. So how does it happen? And this is because your body is constantly breaking down old bone tissue and replacing it with new bone tissue. Many people are under the assumption that bones are rigid, solid structures, that give your body shape. Well, it does give your body shape. They're not rigid and solid as much as we'd like to think. And this means that as you're growing as a child, your bone tissue growth is faster than the removal process, hence why you get taller. When you get to be an adult, it's about an equal rate of, bone tissue growth versus bone tissue removal. This is why we don't get any taller, but our bones are nice, healthy, and strong. When you get older, new bone tissue growth slows to the point it's actually slower than the removal process. This results in bones becoming brittle and weak. And this is what leads to osteoporosis development. So obviously you see it's something that affects you over the lifetime of your entire lifespan, but you don't really see it until you become older. And it can affect anyone of any race or gender, but it's most commonly seen in white or Asian women who are postmenopausal. And some other factors that increase your chances of developing osteoporosis would be having a smaller body frame, being underweight, or having a diet that is low in calcium. Calcium is vital to bone health. Other medical conditions like celiac disease or irritable bowel disorders, those also increase your risk. And certain medications like long-term use of corticosteroids. Corticosteroids actually weaken your bone. And lifestyle choices such as smoking, excessive alcohol intake, or inactivity also contribute to your risk level of developing osteoporosis. When it comes to osteoporosis symptoms, in the early stages, there are none. It takes until your bones are weak and brittle for you to start noticing anything. So you might have back pain, and this is usually from either broken or fractured or even collapsed vertebrae, which are the bones in your spinal column. Loss of height over time. So this means that obviously you will actually get shorter. Not necessarily noticeable right away. It takes numerous amount of years to notice this one. Stooped posture. You might be bent over more because your body's not supporting your spine as well. And you might have bones that break more easily than expected. Obviously, you fall, you break something, and it's something that you would not expect to have a broken bone from. So all of these, as you can see, are indications, but unfortunately, this is already after you've developed osteoporosis. So let's look at some treatment options so you know what you can do to prevent having to deal with some of these. The treatment for osteoporosis is based on your chances of breaking a bone within the next 10 years. And this is determined by a bone density test. This involves low-level x-rays to look at the density or the amount of minerals that are in your bone. Obviously, the more minerals you have, the less likely you're going to have a broken bone because your bones are stronger. Since your hip, wrist, and spine are the most common areas that are broken, these are going to be the areas that are x-rayed. This way you're limiting the amount of radiation that your body is receiving. If you're at high risk for osteoporosis, the first treatment option is medications. And there's several different kinds. They come in pill form that can be taken either once a week or once a month. And then there's also intravenous or IV form that are taken either once a quarter or once a year. Some examples of these medications are aldronate, risdronate, ibandronate, and zoledronic acid. And the key thing here is there are side effects that can occur. So your doctor will probably start you on a pill form first, see how well you tolerate that, and then if you tolerate it and would like to not have to remember to take a medication, once a week or once a month, then you can have the injections. Other option, especially for postmenopausal women, is hormone replacement therapy. Obviously, with part of the reason why women are at higher risk for developing osteoporosis is once they go through menopause, their hormones change, and the hormones that help support bone structure are actually lessened. So by replacing these hormones, it increases their chances of preventing osteoporosis, or at least slowing down the process. Other big factor here, this is to stop smoking if you smoke. Obviously, don't start smoking if you've never smoked, and then reduce your alcohol intake. So this means no more than 2 drinks a day, or less than that, obviously, ideally. And then part of the treatment process is actually preventing falls, because obviously to prevent a fall, you have to do certain things ahead of time in order to do that. So some of those are wearing shoes that have non-slip soles, removing any tripping hazards. This could be any wiring, cables, anything that's on the floor, any slippery rugs that are on like a tile floor, hardwood floor, anything that will move. You also want to have adequate lighting. This is important so that way you can see. Then you want to install grab bars in the toilet area, in your shower, in your tub, anywhere where it could be slippery and you might need to grab onto something. And if you need to, use assistive devices. So that way it's easier for you to get around or reach certain things. So hopefully by following all these, it helps decrease the rate of progression that your osteoporosis is occurring at. When it comes to preventing osteoporosis, the important thing to realize is that osteoporosis is something that develops over time. So the prevention strategies are something that you need to start when you're younger and continue to do throughout your life in order to get the benefits of. The 2 main focuses are nutrition and exercise. Under nutrition, there's 3 main areas you should be really keying in on. First is protein. Protein is considered the building block of bones. It's really the building block of all of our cells, but it's especially important for bones. Calcium, you need more of it as you age. Calcium is very, very important for your bones structure. It's one of the main minerals that your bones is made of. So as you age, women over 50, men over 70 need to increase their calcium intake from 1,000 milligrams a day to 1,200 milligrams a day. And some great dietary ways to do this are to take in low-fat dairy products, dark green leafy vegetables, canned salmon, soy products like tofu, and calcium-fortified foods. Obviously, a lot of manufacturers have started adding calcium to their products because people were not getting enough calcium in their diet. So cereals now, a lot of them are calcium fortified. Juices like orange juice have calcium added to them. So that way, by just consuming these products every day, you should get to that adequate calcium number. Another important factor when it comes to calcium is vitamin D. Vitamin D helps your body to absorb calcium. So you need to have enough vitamin D to make sure your body can process all the calcium you're taking in. Well, the best way to get vitamin D? Sunlight exposure. All you have to do is go outside. Your skin naturally produces vitamin D after it's been exposed to sunlight. So big thing here, obviously, is if you don't spend time outside or you use a lot of sunscreen when you're outside, you will need to probably take some sort of vitamin D supplement to make sure that you're getting enough so that way you can get that calcium absorbed. When it comes to exercise, there are 3 main focuses here as well. Keys are strength training, weight bearing, and balance exercises. Strength training, we're specifically talking about your upper body. And this is going to include some form of resistance training. So you think weights here, think resistant bands, think body weight exercise such as push-ups. These are all very, very important because when we put stress on our bones through some form of exercise of this kind, gravity actually helps to keep them strong. It makes them strong. And we're not just making our muscles strong when we do these things, we're making our bones strong as well. And this is super, super important for starting at a younger age and continuing this through as you get older. Key thing here, obviously you don't have to be a bodybuilder to get to this level of making sure your bones are strong. It's just something that you need to do to provide stress on your bones at a regular interval throughout your life, mostly a couple times a week, to be able to achieve this. When we talk about weight bearing, this is where we're focusing on those type of exercises for your lower body. You want to, obviously, you have to work out all of your bones when you're working out, because obviously same thing when we're working out muscles. We have to work out our entire body. And while strength training focuses on upper body, weight bearing focuses on lower body. So that can include things like walking, running, climbing stairs, anything that puts your lower body in motion. And then the last big thing are balance exercises. And the reason these are so important is because obviously as we age, if you have really good balance, you're less likely to fall. If you're less likely to fall, that means you're less likely to break a bone. And obviously with osteoporosis, that's one of the main concerns. So balance exercises can include things like Tai Chi or yoga, things like that. And those you can incorporate throughout your life a couple times a week as well. And so by just adding these into your normal fitness routine, you're going to see tremendous benefit not only in the present, but you also have that long-term benefit as well. Other big factor, and I know we talked about it in the treatment section, but it's key here as well. Don't smoke. So if you smoke and need help quitting, talk to your doctor. It's really, really important. Smoking actually drains the minerals out of your bones, and this is what causes the issues, it weakens them so significantly. And if you smoke over your lifetime, this is a huge impact. And then limit your alcohol intake. This doesn't mean stop completely if you enjoy having an alcoholic beverage, but just be careful. Drink in moderation and don't overconsume. So that by following all of these things, you'll have the best chances at decreasing your risk of developing osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is one of those things that we don't really think about until we already have it, but we should be, because this is the only way to truly prevent it in its entirety, or at least decrease at the rate that it progresses. So make sure you're doing everything that you can. Thank you for joining me today. If you found the information to be valuable and helpful, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about us, get the word out. If you have questions or comments, I'd absolutely love to hear from you. Put them below, send me a message, and until next time, stay healthy.